Morning. It's not one light. Might have smoked it all out though. I was smoking while I was doing dishes. Oh well. Just gonna have to be unhappy and cranky. That new tobacco I got from smokingpipes.com. It's Fabu. Also gets the smell of doggy accident out of the place. So that light is bright. It's pretty good for doing this in the morning. I should just do these in the afternoon. Let me see what I can do about it. Yeah, it helps a little bit. You can't see Cyclops'. You can't see Apocalypse's pyramid, but that's really it. Okay, we'll start there. I'll try and move it around. Since this is going to be a tutorial, I'll try and move it around more. This one might take a little bit longer because this is going to be for mostly, I mean, it's for anybody, but this video is going to detail how to play the game for those who aren't familiar with it. I think that's, I guess I could do that. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay. It's really about as far back as the swivel goes. Anyway, so this is going to be an introductory game. If you've never played Marvel United before, you're with someone who's never played Marvel United before, or you haven't played it much and you've got questions, this is going to be that first timer game. I'm going to go over everything again. I know I've done it before. I did it in the first stream, but I'm going to do it again. I will try and keep it quick as well. If this game is anything like last one, it's going to be quick anyway. So the reason I wanted to do it on this one is because I've already fought. This is the Age of Apocalypse expansion with Blink. And I've already fought Apocalypse before, and he whooped my ass. Whooped it hard. I only got one mission completed. And it was really... Sinister is really what did it. If I had been able to take Sinister out quick and or Abyss, it would have been different. So we'll see how it works this time around. But it's probably going to be a quick game anyway. Apocalypse only has 2 master plan cards that don't have a BAM. That's the real issue. And his BAM is insane. I'll read his card to you in just a second, but we're gonna go over. I know I've already set some stuff up, but we're gonna go over what you need to do to set up. So typically in a game of United, you pick the villain. You set the villain dashboard in the middle. You put out the appropriate missions. Different villains have different setup rules on the back. Apocalypse is one of them. Apocalypse has 7 threats instead of the typical 6. And you shuffle them like you always do. Well, not always. Like you sometimes, most of the time do. And then you're only going to play 6. And he has master plan cards that will pull the other one out. So typically in a game, and another reason I want to do this one is because Apocalypse is mostly a typical villain. I forgot his health. He's mostly a typical villain. So when you're playing a standard game, when you're playing with four players in a standard game, it's going to look a lot like this. While he is a typical villain, he is also super powerful. So I don't recommend him for a first time game. But it's not my first time game. So you'll get to see a good beginner's game in hard mode, is basically what you're going to get to see. When I did this originally, I did have the takeover challenge out, but he's so difficult. There's no reason to have a challenge unless you're really picking your team, the most powerful characters, etc., etc. I still am doing the heroic challenge. For one, because Magneto has his helmet, which I don't even really need it. His helmet doesn't have any effect on this game. Actually, it might. I didn't get to see the Shadow King. Shadow King might might affect his helmet, so it might come in. We'll see. Typically, when you put equipment in, the equipment and the team decks are the only thing that's not standard here. So typically, when you put the equipment in, you take out the double wild. Heroic mode takes out the double and the single wild, but it also makes the characters feel more like the characters to me, so I always do it. Now that does make Apocalypse even more hard, because Apocalypse dwindles your deck just about every turn. But I'm also playing with the team deck, the resistance to Apocalypse deck. So with the team deck, instead of drawing, I could take a team card. So that will actually help out against Apocalypse. And if you fight Apocalypse, I recommend that as well. I did go over right after the last time I did this, I did actually go over the campaign decks. There's a campaign deck for Age of Apocalypse, and it's amazing. I can't wait to do it. Take a long time though. So if you don't have the campaign decks, I highly recommend the campaign decks. I went over all the X-Men decks, and as growing up on the X-Men, they really did a good job. So kudos. And I really want to do the Age of Apocalypse missions. Dark Phoenix more, but I really want to do the Age of Apocalypse missions, especially once you get to the Nightcrawler mission. Nightcrawler and Mystique versus Deadpool. Anyway, enough fluff. So he kicked my ass. We're doing a rematch. Since it's a pretty standard game, we're gonna do it with y'all. We're gonna do a breakdown game again, or a tutorial breakdown game again. So, typically when you play a game of Marvel United, like I said, you put your villain down first. Any special setup, keep in mind, you put down the missions. One of his special setups is he has his own mission. So you take out the Defeat Thugs mission, and you put in the Reset the Timeline mission. Now, on the Reset the Timeline, you have to put rescues down, or you have to perform rescues, but you have to perform 2 in a row. So any hero, to complete the timeline, has to do 2 rescues in a row. With this group, that's pretty difficult. They're very punchy, which does nothing for the missions, let me tell you. But I still wanted to give it another whirl. I expected I'm going to get my ass handed to me again, but we'll see. So we've got Reset the Timeline, Rescue Civilians, Clear Threats. Now, the villain, if the villain is damageable, which later on he will be, first you have to clear 2 missions to damage the villain. So you can't even damage him until 2 missions are gone. Now, the first time you clear a mission, the villain becomes under pressure. What that means is he's going to act 1 card sooner. So typically your villain is going to act every 3 hero cards, but if he's under pressure, if you've completed a mission, he's going to act every 2 cards. So generally, when our group plays it, we try to complete the first 2 missions simultaneously. And we try and do it at the end of a 3rd turn if we can as well, so that we milk the most out of it. But since you're on a time crunch with Apocalypse here, it's hard to say how that's going to go. And I'm also being fair. You just saw me. I shuffled the threats again, so I'm being fair. You're seeing everything up front. Now, we're gonna do this though. So after you set up the villain, after you set up the missions, the next thing you do is Well, you put the locations out next, and I've already done that. So it's supposed to be six random mission or six random locations. It is not random here. I picked all these because of story, and because we needed a heal. So even though the school is ruins, it is still an Age of Apocalypse. So and plus we needed the heal. We need the heal. Need. So if you're playing the Age of Apocalypse, you need to put a heal out. I would recommend the first class school. So you put out your locations, you put out all your tokens, and then you randomly put out the threats. Dark Beast is actually your friend. Shadow King. Okay, I don't know what he does. Heroes in this initiation locations return their elders. Okay, so Magneto's helmet will come into effect. Okay, good. And I'll read all these to you. I'll read everything to you. Don't worry. I was hoping Abyss would be the one that did not show up. Or Sinister. Either one of those. So Havoc is the one that did not show up. That's not great for us. Not great. Okay. And on the bright side, Dark Beast is going to be damaging Sinister again. That's good for us. So, alright. Now I'm going to read everybody's abilities to you. So, Apocalypse himself. Unlike standard rules, only the henchmen in the location opposite to Apocalypse activate their BAM. I did that wrong. That's funny. That was huge too. That's pretty funny. Oh well. If there is no henchman there, activate the first one in the next clockwise location starting from there. Only the henchman that activates can be damaged until the next villain turn. When a hero is KO'd, Apocalypse doesn't activate his BAM, instead remove the top card of that deck from the game. Which is huge. And then his BAM, each hero in his and both adjacent locations removes the top card of their hero deck from the game. Each hero in that location and the two adjacent removes the top card of their deck from the game. So it is literally a time crunch. The sand is always running out. And then his overflow. Overflow means, let me show you a location. So these are civilians. These are the amount of slots in the location for you to have civilians or thugs. The red ones are the thugs. Like here. So thugs require punch, civilians require rescue. We'll go over that in a second. We're still going over the bad stuff. This token is a threat token. So the missions are usually, this is the new one. The missions are usually defeat thugs, where you beat these guys up, rescue civilians, where you rescue them, and clear threats, where you clear the threats. So once you complete any one of those, the villain becomes under pressure. Once you complete two, the villain can be damaged. Once you complete the third one, if you complete any of those once, or if you complete the third one, everybody draws a card. In this game, that's healing. So we do need to decide where the heroes are going to go. Put the health out. Once I put the health out, I will read all of their BAMs. Sinister and Abyss really are the worst, but they're all bad, except for Beast. Dark Beast is helpful. Although, I suppose if Dark Beast gets the final punch on a villain, you don't get the token. Huh. Might need to read the Age of Apocalypse rules again. I don't think it covered that. Stands to reason to me that if Beast kills the henchman, you don't get the... I think I said villain, I meant henchman. So since Beast could theoretically kill a henchman, I think that logically you would not get that threat token, which would suck. One. No, because you'd still have 4. Never mind. I'd say on the bright side, Beast did not end up on the heel, but the unfortunate thing is Sugarman ended up on the heel. The school is where the heel is. Now, what that means is, why that's unfortunate, let me read his ability. So on a BAM, Sugarman turns each civilian in his and adjacent locations into thugs, and then move him to the opposite location, swapping him with the threat there, if any. Then each hero in locations with one or more thugs takes 1 damage. Now, if we start there, Apocalypse, as I recall, is going to move there, which means that we'll have to deal with Apocalypse and him. So the bright side is we get to pick where we go. But, again, the reason that sucks is because Sugarman is going to, when he BAMs, he's going to switch with Dark Beast. And then Dark Beast will be on the school. And we don't want to get rid of Dark Beast, which means we wouldn't be getting the heal off. So what we need to do is we need to take out Sugarman quickly, but unfortunately we also have Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister keeps us from doing, I'll read him in a second, but he keeps us from doing our specials, and Abyss deals damage to everybody. So those are the 2 we typically want to take out first, but the heal is under Sugarman. It's unfortunate. It's all unfortunate. The only fortunate thing is Dark Beast is going to be damaging Shadow King, who's only got 3 health, and Mr. Sinister. That's the only fortunate thing. Alright, so I read Sugarman. Abyss says deal 1 damage to each hero in the game on his BAM. In the game. All of them, no matter where they are. Sinister says 1 hero in this location removes the top card of their deck from the game until the next villain turn. Special effects on hero cards in the storyline are treated as blank. Now, last time I played this, I misread the first line on Apocalypse apparently, and so I kept myself from winning the game probably. Having reread the first line on Apocalypse, it's actually not that hard, especially since you get to choose your setup. Dark Beast, like I said, he removes 1 health from each adjacent henchman, if any. Apocalypse gains the same number of health and may go above his starting value. So he's slowly killing the henchman, but Apocalypse gets all the health. Shadow King says heroes in this and adjacent locations must turn their earliest card with a special effect in the storyline face down. If they can't, they take 1 damage instead. Oh, so if they don't have any special abilities, they automatically take a damage. Okay, got to remember that. Nemesis says deal 2 damage to each hero in this location and 1 damage to 1 hero in each adjacent location. So if you are in his location, you better be in it to take him out of the game, because otherwise he is going to devastate you. Being beside him is not that big of a deal. Yeah, there we go. Now, one of these locations is also hazardous. The pyramid is hazardous, so when we defeat whichever henchman is there, if we do, it's actually good that Dark Beast is there as long as we can keep him there. When we defeat that henchman, we don't want to stay there, because that location deals 1 damage to you. Okay, playing the game. Let me put the starting cards down, even though it's not going to mean anything. Apocalypse has a very mean first card. It's really cool though. Changes the game for the heroes immediately. Alright, what have I got showing over here? So the team cards that are showing. You see that? Should I turn the light on? I'll turn the light on. Okay. So if the rescue civilian's mission is not yet completed, gain 1 punch token for each 3 civilians on it. It's a good card. It's a good card. You may gain 1 move or 1 rescue token if the corresponding symbol is not present at the bottom of the previous hero card in the storyline. Also good. So Shadow King, they count as the hero's cards. So for the purposes of Shadow King, I'm going to have to remember who played the team cards. I mean, it shouldn't be too difficult because you have to stick with your lineup, but or play sequence. Yeah, stick with your sequence. Okay, so what you do now? So you've set up your villain, you've set up your missions, you've set up your locations, you've set up your threats. All the tokens are out. So the next thing you do is you decide where to put the master plan deck. And well, the mat has it there. I might change that. So this mat, this is the full-size mat, and it's got a master plan. Actually, all of them do. It has a slot for the master plan deck right there. So I might. You can't even see what I'm pointing at because I went to the school. Sorry. So it actually has a slot for the master plan deck. The mats are all really cool. I highly recommend the mats, or a mat, if you get the game. And the Multiverse stuff, from what I understand, is mostly available in retailers now on Amazon, for sure. Anyway, so then you would set up your locations, threats, tokens, and then you would pick the starting location for the villain. Interesting. For the first time ever, YouTube told me I was live. So, we get to decide where to start Apocalypse and ourselves. So who wants to be our focus? Whoever we focus on, that's going to be the one that he comes to, as I recall. I think the smart play is to start with the Sentinel Space Station. I know that the Master Plan deck is over here, but in a standard game, what we would do is we would put the Master Plan deck here, and then the villain goes there. So that's where we're going to start him. That means that we start at the Sentinel Space Station. So again, I'm playing this as if you had 3 players playing Magneto, Age of Apocalypse, Morph, Sabretooth and Wildchild, and Blink. 4 of the most important characters in that storyline. If while I'm doing this you want to hear about Age of Apocalypse or afterwards, we can go over that. It is a really cool storyline. It's not my favorite X-Men. I'm an X-Men fanatic. Nowadays it's kind of weird. It just keeps getting weirder, but I think that's just because Marvel's gone on too long. But X-Men, growing up, like since I was 4, I was into X-Men. Yeah, they were close to me. Knew them all by names, or first names. Okay. So now we're not going to play the game yet. We're not going to start yet because this is a tutorial. So first you need to know what we will be doing. Let's see who's got a good. Morph probably has a good hand to show off. He does not. Does anybody have a good? So it looks like it's going to be Blink. So Blink has the best standard hand. Here's what we'll do. So you set up your heroes, and then you draw 3 cards from their shuffled deck. And this is what a good standard hand looks like. You got 1 special ability, that's the top card, and then you got 1 of each of the standard symbols. The only thing it's missing is a wild. There's a wild symbol that has all 3 colors on it. When you do a wild action, it can count as whatever you want it to be. Now actions are different from tokens. We'll go over that in a little bit, but these are the main 3 actions that you can take on your turn, and you can take as many of them as you have access to. So let's say that bottom card there, if she were to play that, she would get a move and a rescue. The rescues, as I told you, can be used to rescue the civilians. They can also be used, if you do 2 of them, to start resetting the timeline. Because you have to reset the timeline to, I think you have to reset the timeline to, maybe I'm wrong on that. You may not have to. For some reason I was thinking that you can't damage him until you reset the timeline, but it doesn't have to be one of the 2 that you do. So any of those 3. The difficulty is that there's no thugs to rescue or to defeat. That's what really sucks. And then the special ability is only usable to that hero on that turn, and I'll go over that in a second. So if she were to play the top card, she would get a move, and then she would also get her special ability of move to any location, then you may move any heroes to your location. It's actually really, really, really good. The teleporters in the game are really... Oh, he's adjacent too. Oh, but he's not going to go there. No, it's not adjacent. Okay. Anyway, so the teleporters are really good. Teleporters and movers like Speed, Quicksilver, Nightcrawler's the best. Nightcrawler's the best. As far as a mover goes, Nightcrawler is the best. No ifs, ands, or buts. He doesn't get as many symbols as some other characters because of that, but Nightcrawler is one of the best characters in the game. Spider-Man, Peter Parker, also one of the best characters in the game. Groot, also one of the best characters in the game. If you just want to play an easy game, Spider-Man, Groot, Nightcrawler, and then somebody like Jessica Jones or Captain Britain Betsy or Strange. Anybody who's got the master plan manipulation. That would just be the cheese ball of the game. Although if you've got Howard the Duck and anybody with a single punch, you can defeat any villain that has health in 1 turn. Yeah. Or 2 turns. Okay, anyway, that's besides the point. So if she were to play the top card, she would get her move symbol or move action because of the symbol, and then she would get her special ability as well. Now, when you play a hero card, you benefit from your hero card plus the hero card before. So every turn, unless it's the first hero that goes, every turn you're going to have access to 2 hero cards most of the time. Some villains, like Shadow King, might get rid of or turn face down the prior card, and you don't get theirs. Sometimes you don't get yours. Just depends on who you're fighting. Coolest thing about Marvel United is almost every villain feels like a different game. There are some that are super similar. Deathstrike and Sabretooth are similar. I imagine Daken is probably similar to them. Juggernaut and Rhino, they're very similar. So you get the idea. Yeah, you get the idea. So there are some villains who are similar. Most of the villains have, beat them down after getting 2 missions completed, and you win. Most of them, and I'll go over the ways you lose now. Most of them, if you run out of hero cards and have to draw one, you lose. If you run out of master plan cards and have to draw one, you lose. Which basically the first one means they beat down the heroes, the second one means that they finished their master plan. If they have a villainous plot that comes to fruition, you lose. So with most villains, you have 3 ways to lose. We'll say 2.5. We'll say 2.5 ways to lose. Because a lot of the villainous plots just increase one of the other ways that you lose. But there are some with like meters. So They do differ, and it's really cool. I think my favorite villain so far. I haven't finished all the multiverse stuff. That's what I'm doing with y'all. My favorite villain so far is Mojo. Fantastic fucking villain. Spiral is too. Both of the villains from the Mojoverse are fantastic. I really want to do Gladiator. Can't wait. Gladiator's actually, as he should be, in the Age of Apocalypse campaign with Gambit and the external stuff. I want to do that so bad. I wish Lila Cheney was in here. That would have been cool. In the story, Gambit has his own team of resistance, and they go to the Shar Empire, and they basically have to choose. Gambit has to choose between fulfilling his mission and rescuing the life of his girlfriend. Now, keep in mind, in the Age of Apocalypse, he and Rogue are in love, but Rogue is with Magneto, married, and they have a kid. And Gambit and Rogue still love each other, but Rogue is still with Magneto. But Gambit's got a girlfriend, and it's really cute how he has to decide between making Rogue happy and fulfilling his mission and rescuing Lila. Really cool shit. Really written really well. Written really well. Anyway. So those are the hero actions that you can choose from. Tokens are separate from actions, but they can be used for actions. So if you have an ability, like there's a location where you can get tokens, you keep that token until you want to use it for whatever reason you can. Some stuff requires tokens, like get rid of a token to do this. Some equipment, if you discard a token, you refresh the equipment, etc., etc., etc. Okay, you get the idea, but we'll still go over it kind of slow. This is probably going to be an hour and a half long from now. We'll see. So we're set up. Heroes here, villain da. First thing you do is the bad guy goes first. And I know what he's going to do, and it sucks. So this is always Apocalypse's first card. Supreme Strategist. He stays where he is. Oh, I was wrong. I fucked that up. So I just dealt 2 damage to myself. Oh well. I really thought that he came to us. Oh well, if I'd have been doing this blind, I wouldn't have known that anyway. So he stays where he is and he bams, which means all of us, because it's the ones opposite too, right? No. So it's in his and both adjacent locations. Oh, that worked out well. Now the threats in his and the opposite locations resolve. So first his bam, and then each hero must discard their hand and draw the same number of cards. They are not KO'd by this. What he means is typically your hand is your health. So you discard your entire hand to the bottom of your deck. Usually if that happens, if you have nothing in your hand, you're KO'd. That's saying it doesn't count as a KO. And then you draw the same number of cards. So all of those lovely starting hand cards the heroes got are now at the bottom of their deck. Who knows what we'll get now? That really hurt Morph, who has dos. Fucking. I do get to choose how I have my hand. Still, Sinister isn't going. That's really all I care about. Not all I care about. We're about to take a damage. Okay, so the first one we'll do is Shadow King's heroes in this and adjacent locations, so it's not going to affect us. Okay, that's good. But Abyss, 1 damage to everybody. Blink drew well. That's what that was. I had to choose a card to get rid of. Hate that. Morph drew well also. Alright. So, then, at the bottom there, he puts out more tokens. So he's going to put a thug where he is, and a civvy in each adjacent. So all those locations, if they get 2 more, they get an overflow. And then what you do is, there is a play sequence. So the first villain card starts the sequence, and then the heroes follow suit after that, with the villain following suit as well. All right. Will our heroes save the day? Maybe. I don't feel so bad about this game anymore. So now we have to decide who goes first. I think Sabretooth and Wildchild will probably go first. Maybe Magneto will. Maybe we'll do more. So Magneto, Morph, and Sabretooth can all do about the same. So let's do this. We'll start with Magneto. He is going to, since we have the team deck, you can choose whether to use the team deck or your deck. If you choose your deck, you draw a card. Every hero turn, typically, you would draw a card. Since we're using the team deck, that's the only crazy thing we're dealing with. Since we're using the team decks, we could instead use one of the team deck cards. The reason we're doing that is because of his ability to get rid of our deck. So I'm not going to use the team deck, which means, because it's got 2 cards showing, they're both pretty good. Instead, he's going to draw a card. Not doing that. So we're going to start with Magneto, and he is going to use the Magnetokinesis, which is 2 punches split as he likes in his and adjacent locations, or 3 punches against a villain. Now, the henchmen are not villains, unfortunately. So if you've read Age of Apocalypse, this is actually pretty appropriate, because he took care of Apocalypse. But, so he's going to deal 2 damage split as he likes in either his or an adjacent location, and then he gets a move. Goes there. He's going to deal 2 to Abyss. Screw that guy. Leaving Abyss with 2. And then he's going to move to Sugarman. Because we got to get that heel uncovered too. And then we're going to do Morph. Morph is also going to play from his deck, so he's drawing a card. Okay. So he's got Magneto's movement because it's still showing, and then he is going to play aggressive shape, which is two punches against a single target in his location. If it's a villain, which it's not, you may then move them to an adjacent location, and he gets a wild. That's what a wild looks like. So we then play it in the storyline, like so. He is going to finish off Abyss, because we don't like Abyss. Like at all. That gets rid of a threat. He's still got a wild and a move. So he can't do anything about the reset the timeline, but he can move over here, rescue one of those. Yep. Alright. And then we're probably going to do Blink next. One, two, move. Actually, I think we're going to do Sabretooth next. Who's going to use one of his cards, so he's going to draw. Okay. He's going to use Claw and Fangs. So he gets a move and 2 punches. And it's a special ability, so he is going to be the only one that gets those 2 punches. When Blink goes, she's not going to get those. Alright. So he's got Morph's Wild. He's got 2 punches of his own, and then he's got a move. So we're going to go ahead and move and get rid of Sugar Man. 1, 2, 3. 2 punches and a wild. That's another threat gone. Now the threats are all worrisome, but if we clear 2 more threats, he's going to start going every 2, which we don't necessarily want yet. Now, when you end your turn in a location, like Sabretooth and Wild Child are about to do, when you end your turn in a location and there's no threat on that location, and nothing else that would hinder it, you can perform the end of turn on your turn. Now it's a may, unless it says otherwise. But this end of turn says another hero in this location may either draw cards until they have 3 in hand, or gain one of any of the 3 main tokens. So I could heal either Magneto or Morph, or give them a token. I'm going to be ballsy, and I am going to give Magneto, no, I'm going to give Morph a rescue token. Balls deep. I'm talking about balls deep. Balls deep in love. Because I think the rescue token is going to be more handy than health at this point. Yeah, I don't really see this being much of an issue. I've said that before and lost, though. That one sentence is huge, and I messed that up. Anyway, it's Apocalypse's turn. So he's going to go 5, and then he's going to bam. That's going to be on Dark Beast, which is good for us. And then, it was so perfect. We did exactly what we needed to do. So he's going to go, where's this looking? It's looking here. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which puts him at his pyramid, where Dark Beast is. He's going to bam. Now, we're not there or adjacent to him, so we're not going to remove our top cards from the game. And then Dark Beast is going to bam, and Dark Beast says that he removes a health from each adjacent villain, and it goes to Apocalypse. Now, again, if Beast does that, I don't think we get the threat tokens, but there's still enough threats after that that we don't have to worry about it. Okay, and then he's going to drop a thug in his and a civilian. and locations next to him. So we do need to start doing something about those locations, because we got two full now. And then that goes in the storyline. The storyline is where all the when I keep saying that, I'm talking about where all the cards go. All the played cards go. And no, I'm not having beer for brunch. That's tea. That is orange pico tea. This is not a homegrown tea, but it does have a homegrown tincture in it. So I put my own spearmint tincture that I grew the spearmint, made the tincture myself in my tea. It's Fabu. That was me. That was me patting my doggy. All right. Maybe one day I'll let Gus in on the stream. Maybe. He's a brat. They're both brats. Where was I? The resistance. So Blink is going to... Is she going to pull from her deck? Honestly, Blink might take a team card. I'm going to take a team card. So, she's got 2 cards left because she's hurt. She is not going to draw from her deck. She's going to use a team card. So she is going to, and this is risky because the team negative could show up. So it's always a risk. Make do with what we have. So she can either gain, oh wait, no. If the corresponding symbol, yeah, okay, I read it right. So she can gain either a move or a rescue token if the corresponding symbol is not present at the bottom of the previous hero card in the storyline. The previous hero card had a special ability that she won't get and a move. So she just gets the move. So since she's going to pick rescue, she is going to get a rescue token, and then she's going to get her own rescue. And then she's also going to get Sabretooth and Wildchild's move. So she's got rescue token, her rescue, and Sabretooth and Wildchild's move. And I honestly think she's going to do the same thing. So she's going to move into the school also, and then she is going to use her token and her action to start resetting the timeline. Because I think that's the quickest course of action. It is. The quickest courses of action are to get rid of the threats and then reset the timeline. Because I'm smart, see? I'm smart, see? Quoting my favorite film, or referencing my favorite film. Boondock Saints. Best film ever. Still. And supposedly the 3rd one's finally going to be coming out soon. Well, I say soon. I'm not even sure it started filming yet, but they got a script. And then Magneto went first, so back to Magneto. That sucks. Oh yeah, she healed someone also. Or they got a token. I'll stick with my previous statement. So it would have been better to give a token out. So she gave Magneto the rescue. Actually, that's good. Yeah, she gave Magneto the rescue token. So I think Magneto's going to use was his leadership card. Leaders hand out tokens. Every leader in the game has token generating abilities, cards. So he's going to use leadership. So distribute 2 wild tokens from the pool among other heroes. If you do, discard one card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. Boom. So it hurts him. He's a sacrificial healer or leader, but it's worth it, I think. So he's going to give 1 token to each of the other 2, and then he's going to take a damage. So we'll put his other leadership at the bottom of the deck, because why not? And then he also is going to spend... Oh, he's got 3 now. That's fine. So he's got... I think I played the wrong leadership, but whatever. Did I? Nope, I didn't. I was just wrong. So he's got 3 rescues. He will spend the token and 1 of them on the reset the timeline, like so. And then he will spend the other one to clear that civilian, like so. And then he will heal Morph, which means Morph draws a card. Alright, and then Morph is next too. Morph is next too. Alright. If I was sure that I could take out a threat next turn, I would clear one of these. I might do it anyway. Balls deep. I'm talking about balls deep. So he's got a rescue from Eric, from Magneto. Going after Nemesis, if you can't do 5 damage in 1 turn, is stupid. Yeah, we're going to do defensive shape. So he's going to ignore the first damage that he would take during the next villain turn, and then he gets a wild. So that gives him a wild and a rescue, and he's also got another rescue. Didn't I heal Morph? Oh, I did. I just didn't draw. Whoops. Forgot to draw a card. That's fine. So I think I'm going to reset the timeline. It's going to make Apocalypse go every 2 heroes, but this is the end of a 3rd hero, so we don't lose too much. I don't see any reason not to do that. So he could move, and then he could reset the timeline, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So he's going to move to the space station. It's risky. And then he's going to use his token, and then the wild as a rescue to reset the timeline. So that's done. Does that make a mess? So we have reset the timeline. 1 mission down, which means Apocalypse activates every 2 heroes now. Alright, and the end of turn at the Sentinel space station where he is says that he can discard a card from his hand at the bottom of his deck to swap a card from his hand with one of the face-up cards in the storyline, which he is going to do for multiple reasons. So he's going to swap that with the aggressive shape. And one of his adaptive shapes is going to the bottom of his deck. So he basically takes a damage to get one of his specials back. And I think it was worth it. And then it's Apocalypse's turn. Apocalypse is going to go 3, and he's not going to bam. So he comes to us at the school. Place the surprise henchman in the location opposite of Apocalypse's. If there's already a threat there, replace it with the surprise henchman. That sucks. The replaced threat becomes the new surprise henchman, then bam. That sucks. So, Havoc takes Dark Beast's place. Boo, boo, Apocalypse, boo. With 4 health. And then he drops a Thug where he is and a Civvy at each adjacent. At least he didn't bam, right? See good and bad, right? No, fuck him. We hates it. Forever. Okay. Now the adjacent. Oh no, because it says he does bam, doesn't it? Then he bams, so he does bam. Yeah, he bams, they don't. Which means they do, but you know what I mean. So when he bams, each hero in his location, is it and adjacent? And both, each hero in his and both adjacent locations removes the top card from their hero deck from the game. So all of them, every hero, just removed a card from the game. Because he's a bastard. And then Havoc deals 2 damage, unpreventable, to 1 hero in each adjacent location, which we're not there. So now we have to deal with Sinister and Shadow King ourselves, because we don't have Dark Beast helping us out anymore. And whose turn is it? Sabretooth and Wildchild's turn. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't put the... Okay. It was not the negative. The team deck did not pull the negative. So Sabretooth and Wildchild will draw from their deck. And that's actually pretty good. So he's got a wild from Morph. Might go after Sinister. Although Shadow King is about to... His location's about to overflow. That's a toughie. Oh, I forgot about... Sinister's also at Dark Beast's location, so he's actually got 1 more health. Forgot about that. So he can't take Sinister out in 1 shot. But he can take Shadow King out in 1 shot. Which he's going to do. So he is going to play Wildchild Tracking. Move in either direction to the next location with any thugs. If you do, punch there. He's going to go counterclockwise. Oh, you can already see it. He's going to go counterclockwise. They will go counterclockwise, which will put them at Shadow King because Nemesis does not have any thugs at his. I know you can't really tell because the glare is now really making it hard to see. But he's going to go here. He gets 2 punches and a wild. So he's going to finish off Shadow King with 2 punches. And he's going to use his wild to rescue. And he has a wild also, which he will spend to rescue. So everything else left there is thugs. He said his end of turn. He's out of actions also. So the end of turn at the Seattle slave camp says you may add 1 civilian from the pool to the rescue civilians mission. If you do, and there are any civilians or thugs, any civilians, thugs, villains, or other heroes in this location, you must discard 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck. So he could put a civilian on the rescue civilians, but if he does that, he's going to take a damage because there's thugs at the slave camp. I don't think it's worth it since he's probably going to take, well, actually, depending on where Apocalypse goes, he'll either take 1 damage or he'll take 2. Not worth it. Not worth it. But we are 1 step closer to clearing the threat mission and making Apocalypse vulnerable. That's good. And then it is Blink. Yep, Blink. She's going to draw from her deck. So she's got a punch from Sabretooth. After her, Apocalypse goes because he's under pressure now. So she won't be able to take anybody out in 1 turn. But she could hurt Havoc. Which will probably do. Seems the smart play. So we'll do that. She's going to play Warp Portals. Move to any location. You may move any hero. Then you may move any heroes to your location, and she gets a wild. So she's setting the next person up with a wild. She gets a free move anywhere. She's going to move to Havoc. Who goes next? Magneto. She will move Magneto with her. Or maybe she'll move... No. You know what she's going to do? She's going to move Sabretooth and Wildchild to her. Because that's smart. Yeah, that's smart. Alright, and then she's got her punch and she's got her wild. So she'll deal 1 to Havoc with the punch. She will use the wild to rescue the civilian, and then it's Apocalypse's turn. No, she's got a wild. She's got a wild token, so she will rescue another. Yeah. All right, Apocalypse is going to move 5 and bam. So he's going to land on Nemesis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Human High Council. Then he bams. So Magneto has to remove a card from the game. Dick. And then Magneto is going to take a damage because of Nemesis. And unfortunately, that also means, that really sucks, that Sinister is going to bam. That's the worst part. So Nemesis is going to deal 1 damage to Magneto, which will actually knock him out. Which means remove the top card of their deck from the game. Okay. Again. Wait, no, that's not right. When he was instead remove the top card of that. Yeah, that is right. Okay. And then Sinister is going to bam. This is the unfortunate one. So 1 hero in this location removes the top card of their deck from the game. Doesn't matter. But until the next villain turn, special effects on hero cards in the storyline are treated as blank. That's what really sucks. And to think Magneto was 1 turn from healing. No, he wasn't, because I would have had someone else there. Never mind. Alright, well that blows. Not a good turn for us. And then he puts down 2 where he is. That's also going to be an overflow. There's no heroes in that location, so nobody's going to take damage. At least there's that. And then he's also going to put a thug down on each adjacent. Going to have to deal with a couple of places, a few places, because those overflows can be pretty bad. Alright, so it's Magneto's turn. He does a standard turn. Is he going to use a teamwork? I think he is. Okay, so Magneto is not going to draw, so he's going to get the normal 3 cards. He's not going to do his draw at the beginning of the turn because he's going to add resistance against Apocalypse's human resistance. If the rescue civilians mission is not yet completed, which it's not, gain a punch token for every 3 on it, which is 2. And then he's going to play that. So he's going to gain 2 punch tokens. And he's going to get a move. We're going to reveal the next card. Still not the negative. We've gotten lucky there. Alright, so Magneto has got a move from his card. He's got a wild from Blink. And then he's got 2 punch tokens should I choose to use them. I also need to stand him up, don't I? Okay. So we need to... So he can't take anybody out. But he can set somebody else up. Who goes next? Morph? Morph goes next. Oh, actually, no. I might not do that because I forgot. No special abilities. So it'd be stupid to do that. Never mind. Because Sinister banned, which means special abilities don't do anything. It is unfortunate, especially for Magneto. So he's got a wild. He will just do a standard rescue and punch. He will move to morph. Alright. So hopefully that'll help morph. No rescues showing. Alright, Morph will draw from his deck. Well, it's not nothing. He's going to go ahead and play Virtually Indestructible. As long as this card is face up in the storyline, if you have fewer than 3 cards in your hand at the end of a villain turn, you may draw 1 card. Since Sinister's done his thing, of course, that doesn't mean anything right now, but as soon as Apocalypse goes, it might. And it also gives him a wild. So he gets a wild, a rescue, and a punch. He's going to have to use the wild to move. Going to be 1 off. So frustrating. Rescue, and we'll put a punch on Sinister. It's really all we can do. That was an unfortunate turn. Sinister is really... oof. That's Apocalypse. 0 and bam. So Sinister's going to go again. That's great. Unfortunately, nobody is next to Apocalypse or Nemesis. Unfortunately, there's going to be an overflow and another full... well, there's nobody there, so the overflow doesn't hurt anybody. But there is another full location now. Because he puts out 1 and 1. 1 thug. 1 thug. So now the camp is full again. Like I said, Nemesis bams 2, but he doesn't hurt anybody either. Sinister bams 2. Actually, I do think Sinister is going to... yeah. So Morph has to remove the top card of his deck from the game. Okay. Boo. I guess it could have been worse, though. Could have been worse. Probably not really. Could have been worse. Yeah, it could have been worse. Aftermorph is Sabretooth and Wildchild. God, they're like all specials. Yeah, they're all specials. What card do I want to throw away? And they have no civilians. There's no civilians anywhere. Havoc's got 3 health. Sinister has 3 health. That's fantastic. So we'll just trash that card. Really just tossing it out. He's not going to get to benefit from it, like, at all. Morph does not get to heal because of the second bam on Sinister. Alright, so he's going to deal 2 damage to Havoc with the wild and the punch. Oh, what am I doing? And then he's done. Then it is Blink. She will draw from her deck. Good thing I did that. So she's just going to move and punch. So she can finish Havoc off. She is in decent health. Alright. So she's going to finish Havoc off with one of her 2 punches. That makes Apocalypse vulnerable. She won't be able to reach him. But she can move there and get rid of a thug, maybe? No, she'll move here and she'll deal damage to the Sinister. Clearing him won't do anything as far as completing a mission, but she's not able to rescue civilian. She could get rid of a thug over there, but if 2 get added, she would then take damage there. It's not worth it. If she comes over here, she might have to remove the top card of her deck from the game, but she can deal damage to Sinister. Once we get him off the board, we don't have to worry about special abilities being nullified. I think it's a good idea. If Beast comes back, he might be able to help with Sinister. I think that's the smart play. Regardless of whether it is or not, it is Apocalypse's turn. He's going to move 1, and he's going to bam. Dadgummit. He does not like Magneto. Okay. So, there is no... His bam got Magneto. There is no threat. That's what I was trying to say. There is no threat in either his or the opposite location, so they're not going to bam because there's nothing there. He's going to add 2 civilians to his location, which he can't do. So that's going to overflow, but there's nobody there to take the damage. Then he's going to add a thug to each adjacent location. I'm happy for the civilian, though. Alright. So that wasn't too bad. I mean, it sucked for Magneto. The game is running out. Magneto has 3 cards left. So we're running out of time. We got to beat him down, but we do have specials now. There is that. Whose turn is it? Magneto. Magneto's turn. Now he's going to pull from the team deck rather than draw a card. So he is now going to use the team deck for human resistance. If the rescue civilians mission is not yet completed, gain 1 punch token for every 3 civilians on it. So he's going to gain 2 punch tokens like I tried to do last time. He gets a move, and then from Blink he gets a move and a punch. So he's going to move with one of the moves. So that would be 3 punches. I think it's worth it. Yep. He's going to punch Apocalypse 3 times. With her punch and with 2 punch tokens. Alright, and then it is Morph. He is going to draw from his deck, I think. Yep. Where's Morph? So way over there. Oh, well, that's pretty good. So I'm going to play the card that I switched out for earlier, the aggressive shape. He's got a wild coupled with Magneto's move, and then he gets to punch against a single target in his location. If it's a villain, he may move them to an adjacent location. So he gets a move from Magneto, he gets a wild, and then he's going to get to punch on Apocalypse, and then he can move Apocalypse if he wants. I think that's probably a smart idea. Move him here. I think that's the right play. From what we've seen of his cards, because he's played 2 5s already, I don't think he's going to have another 5. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's going to have another 5. And then he could heal Magneto. Magneto doesn't have a deck, so that's not going to do anything. Or he could gain a token. We will give Magneto punch token. Yeah. And then it's Apocalypse. Apocalypse. He's going to move 1 and bam. Yeah, thought so. Damn, Sinister. Damn Sinister. Could have been worse. Alright, so Sabretooth and Wildchild and Blink remove a card from the game. Yeah. Blink removes a card from the game because of Sinister. And specials can't be used because of Sinister. And then Nemesis is going to deal damage to one of those two. Morph will take it. No, he can't because Sinister went first. Morph will take it because I don't want Magneto to take any more damage. And then he's going to put down one thug in his location, and then one civvy in the others. Stupid Sinister. I hate Sinister so much. I hate him so much. Alright, after Morph is, I forget, Sabretooth and Wild Child. Sabretooth and Wild Child. Oh, they actually have a card that's not a special. Move and a punch. And then we got a Wild from Morph. So even if I take Sinister out, for one, I don't get anything for it. For two, it's 2 damage I could be doing to Apocalypse. Three, I wouldn't be clearing those thugs. But I wouldn't have to worry about his BAM anymore. Since it already went off, it's going to stay in effect. Nothing I can do about that. Two, 4, 6. We got 7 more damage to do to Apocalypse. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna take Sinister out. Literally get nothing for it, but he can discard a card from his hand to the bottom of his deck to deal 2 damage to a henchman in any location. Yeah, we're doing that. Maybe. Apocalypse took my heal away. We're not gonna do it. They're good cards anyway. So who goes after Sabretooth and Wild Child? Blink. Who will probably move in a punch. Yeah, she'll draw from her deck. Good call. She's just gonna punch and rescue. Doesn't seem like much, but it is. She'll throw a punch at Apocalypse. She'll move and she'll rescue the last civilian, which means everybody gets to draw a card. Except for Magneto. I think that was the right thing to do. She can discard a card from her deck to the bottom of, or card from her hand to the bottom of her deck to swap a card in her hand with one of your face-up cards in the storyline. Where's that team card she played? Oh, it's not that great. I don't think she's going to use it. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because her cards are good anyway. That is Apocalypse. I'm saying it that way on purpose. It's a reference. George Miller fans will get it. All right, so he moves 2 and BAMs. This is going to be good for everybody except for Morph and Magneto. So his BAM doesn't hit anybody. There's no henchman in either location that he's in or opposite. But oh yeah, so it's not gonna affect Nemesis either. So this was actually a good turn for us. So he is going to overflow where he is. He's going to overflow at the High Council chamber, but Nobody's there, so they're not going to take damage. So he is going to put a civilian there. With Sinister out the way, we might have a chance. We're really banged up. Magneto is close to losing the game for us, but we do have the team decks, or team deck. As long as the negative didn't come up there, right? Alright, so after Blink is Magneto, I believe. Can't draw a card. Does he want to use a team card? That's risky. That would do nothing. So he's got a rescue and he's got a punch from her. I think he is going to play a team card. I just know the negative is going to come up. Yep, I knew it. As long as this card is in the team display at the end of each villain turn, remove the last place token from one incomplete mission of your choice. Oh, it won't affect us. Okay. Since I completed all the missions, that negative is not a negative. It's just nothing. It's literally nothing. It's just a blank card. So it'll sit there. Okay. Magneto has a wild, a rescue, and a punch. Oh, and then the special. I'm sorry, I didn't show you the card, did I? Fueled by Revenge. If this card is face up in the storyline, when a hero is KO'd, turn it face down to distribute. Turn the card face down to distribute 2 special or wild tokens from the pool among the heroes. Not turn the hero face down. That's bad terminology. Okay, so I think the smart thing is to morph heals because specials are active. So I think the smart thing is to move. So he's going to, before he moves though, he's going to rescue, which does nothing. He's going to punch, which does nothing. Then he's going to move. Do I want to take that chance? I'm going to take the chance. So I am going to use the Sentinel Space Station's end of turn. You may discard 1 card from your hand to the bottom of your deck to swap a card from your hand with one of your face-up cards in the storyline. So I'm going to do that. Swap this card for the Magnetokinesis. Okay. Balls deep. And he's done. Now Morph goes. Morph is going to draw from his deck. Because fuck Apocalypse. Okay. The previous card in the storyline had 1 symbol, which it does. That doesn't help the next person though, does it? It's a wild. I could get a swing on Apocalypse. At this point, it's probably worth it. It's worth it. So he's going to play a move and a wild. So he's going to move, wild, and wild to deal the damage. Then it's Apocalypse's turn. I knew it. I knew it. I said that. I knew it because I said it was risky. That's why it was risky. That's funny. So he's going to move 3. Oh, he's not bamming though. Oh, he is going to bam because he's putting the surprise out. Place the surprise henchman in the location opposite to Apocalypse's. If there is already a threat there, replace it with the surprise henchman. Then the replaced threat becomes the new surprise henchman. Then bam. So Dark Beast comes back out. Alright, so all of them remove a card from the game. Knew that was risky. He takes a health off of Holocaust. Not Holocaust, Nemesis, excuse me. His name is also Holocaust, but whatever. They changed it to Nemesis. For obvious reasons, I'm sure. Then he puts down 2 in his and 1 in each corresponding. So no overflow, there's that. 2 civilians here. 1 and 1. Alright. Could have been worse, maybe, possibly. We are out of decks, so there is no more deck. Except for the team deck. If we have to, we can even play the negative card, so the team deck has been working for us. Magneto's played 2. Yeah, the team deck has actually kept us in the game. Look at that. It was a good call. Sorry, there's a blemish on my mat. There's lots of blemishes on my mat. This mat has seen a lot of kids play on it. That's a nasty blemish. It's like a booger. Okay, I thought it was something good, but it's not. Come on, you loved it. It's better than the puns in the description. Sabretooth? Right? Magneto. Sabretooth and Wildchild. I've got special abilities. Yay! I'm 1 away. Yay! I've got a move and I've got a wild. Oh, this is going to be so cool. It's pretty obvious what I got to do because I don't have any cards left. Move and 2 punches. So I got 2 moves, a wild, and 2 punches. Move. Punch, punch. Wild? Not going near Nemesis. Not going to use the ability at the end of turn. Blink is next. I don't think she can do anything. That's unfortunate. Yep, it's unfortunate. So, Sabretooth is done. Blink goes. She can't draw. Move to any location, then you may move any heroes to your location. She'll deal 1 punch to Apocalypse. I don't see anywhere safe other than where she is, so she'll stay where she is. Yep. Apocalypse. He's close. He's got 2 cards left. He's going to move 2 and bam. So he's going to hit Morph. Can't do it. Nobody opposite to him, so nobody's going to bam. He's going to put 2 where he is. It's an overflow, so nothing. Overflow, nothing. Unfortunately, overflow on Morph. So Morph is going to take a damage. Oh, but does he prevent 1? No, he heals. So he takes a damage, but then he heals it right back. So taking out Shadow King so quick was actually good. That was good. We don't have a surprise threat anymore. That's good. But I think there's only 2 of that card. Alright, so Blink to Magneto. Ugh. Magneto is 2 away. He cannot make it. But he can. He could knock himself out. he knocks himself out, the game will end. Knockout, move from the game. Can't draw. Could do that. It's risky. I don't think I should do it though. I think the best course of action would be for Magneto to wait. Oh, it's adjacent. Never mind. I need to read my damn cards. So he can't draw, but Magnetokinesis says adjacent. 2 punches split as you like in your and adjacent locations, or 3 punches against the villain in his location, and he gets a move. We just won the game. So Magneto moves. He performs 2 punches in an adjacent location, and look at that. Apocalypse only has 2 left. Which means that it happened just like in the comics. That's what happened in the comics. Okay, that was cool. So we were 2 cards from losing. We were actually less than that. So we were 1 bad villain turn from losing. Yeah. We were 1 bad villain turn from losing. That is all. If Magneto had taken any more damage, like I almost KO'd myself on purpose there. You do that sometimes. If Magneto had taken any more damage, the game would have ended. And he would have. Because I would have had at most 1 move. Looking at the next card. So I would have had at most 1 move, which would have put me there, there, or there. And any of those would have made me take damage from, well, not damage, but remove the top card. He might have been okay. No. Unless I had gone to the school. If I had gone to the school, we would not have lost the game, but either one of the other locations, and it would have been a loss. Okay, so against Apocalyptic, like I said, I misread the first sentence on him, so he wasn't as bad as I first thought he was. The first game, I thought he was a lot worse. He's still bad, but not as bad as I thought. Now, if you take the team deck against him, like I said, if I hadn't taken the team deck, we would have lost. Like, it would have already been over last turn. So, last time you took damage, that would have been game. But if you're playing against Age of Apocalypse, the team deck, take a team deck. I don't think there's, for beginners, like anybody who's watching as a beginner, I don't think there's a reason to take a challenge. I know I'm playing with the heroic challenge. He's hard without that, so I don't see the need for a challenge. If you're an experienced person picking your heroes, which I didn't, I played with a group of the heroes from the box that were fresh. I'd never played with 3 of them before the first game against him. If you're picking your heroes, maybe pick a challenge. Like I said, if you play with the cheesy characters in the game, like some of the ones I mentioned, maybe take a challenge. But he's challenging enough on his own. Throwing the pyramid in, that was challenging as well. Every hazardous location, there's actually a hazardous location challenge, which throws 3 of them in. But they're all challenging in and of themselves. Technically, each hazardous location is a challenge. The complication challenge is between 1 and 4. It's got 4 levels to it. So, I guess it's time to grade. Yeah, I guess it's time to grade because there's nothing really else to talk about. Once you defeat the villain, one way or the other, that's really the end of the game. So there's nothing that you're going to get more as a beginner from there. So as far as Apocalypse himself, I don't think that he is the most challenging villain. I think he is one of the most challenging villains, though. And this is taking into account all the different play modes, too. So taking into account Sinister Six, Galactus, Thanos. Thanos is rough. taking the different play modes into challenge as well. I think that he's probably going to come out at, he's definitely an A. Since I read him wrong, we'll say an A minus. When I read him wrong, he would have been an A, but since I read him wrong, he's an A minus. So that's still pretty good though. So he deserves a ding. So A minus for Apocalypse. As far as Magneto goes, so Magneto's a really good leader. Leaders tend to fall in the C's for me, but if you're playing, so the grades are individual. So that's why the leaders tend to fall into C's, because if the leaders are playing with someone who benefits from token generation, like Rocket Raccoon or Gambit, it makes them better. Like this Magneto with Gambit would be fucking sick. Sick. Just sick. Both on the same team, plus maybe. Actually, I don't think this Magneto can be in the regular X-Men cards. But if you're playing through the Age of Apocalypse campaign, he and Gambit end up on the same team. So whatever. My point is, a leader with a token generator, which is what leaders are, with token spenders like Rocket, like Gambit, makes them better. But the grading is individual. So typically the leaders fall into C's. He is more of a leader as a sacrificial leader. We played with Maria Hill recently, and she was beneficial to herself. He is detrimental to himself, but he's got some good. The double token generation is good. The punches is good. Do I think that bumps him into a B? I don't, but I'm going to give him a C+. Yeah. So he's still C, but he's a high C. High C. It's funny. Morph. Morph is awesome. He's one of the best shapeshifters, in my opinion. Well, cool points wise. As far as power goes, I don't think he's one of the more powerful shapeshifters. He's very nuanced. I think Morph is going to end up with the same. I think he's going to end up with a C+ as well, just because he's so nuanced. He's kind of all over the place. Now you can build off of that, same as I was saying with leaders. You can build off of that. Like if there's someone that he builds well with, that's different. But just individual grade, I think he's going to be a C+ too. Sabretooth and Wildchild, as far as punchers go, they're really, really good. I think they're one of the best punchers in the game. So I don't think it's enough to put them into the cheesiest of categories. I don't think they're going to jump into the A's, but the punchers I generally put in the B's, and they are maybe. I need to go back through them all. They may be the best punchers. Spider-Man's a hell of a puncher, but he's also a good rescuer. So I don't count him as a puncher. If I counted Spider-Man as a puncher, he'd probably be the best. But yeah, Sabretooth and Wildchild are really, really good at punching. Yeah, we're gonna stick with that. They get a B+. Okay, Blink. I've graded her before. I'll do it again though, since we're doing a brand new one. As far as teleporters go, is she the best? She's one of the best. I've played with all the teleporters now. No, I have not played with Darkchild yet. I hope she's a teleporter. She better be. I need to do her soon. I should count the movers. I should count teleporters and movers together. So I don't think Blink is as powerful as Speed. We played with Speed the other day. He was pretty powerful. Is she that powerful? She can move everybody. He can move everybody. I think Nightcrawler is still probably the best because, you know, every card. And then half of them can move other people. So she's a specialist. She's really good at it. So I'm just going to give her middle specialist grade. She's just going to get a B. Because she's good. B is not bad. It's good. B is basically reserved for specialists, and if you're top specialist, it might push you into the A's. Yeah, so I think she's really, really good. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give her a B+. I'm going to give her a B+. I think she's probably around the same as Speed. Yeah, I think she's going to get a B+. If I didn't give her that grade before, I should have. So B+ for her. The team deck, The resistance team deck is a roller coaster. It did win me the game just playing with it, but it's like great card, card, great card, card. So it's a roller coaster, which would put it in the middle. But the really good cards they were both really good. So we'll give it a B minus. Yeah, not a bad. That's not a bad grade. It's not a bad grade. Not at all. And that's really it. We didn't play with any special challenges. I'm not going to grade the heroic challenge. Everybody knows what that is. So that's really it. Yep. And it's already droned on long enough, so I'm not going to keep anybody any longer either. We'll just call that the wrap. Hope you learned something. If you don't have the game already, I highly recommend it. It's my favorite board game, probably. And it is available on Amazon, as well as directly from Cool Mini or Not, I believe, who I love as well. But regardless, it's been real. Catch you on the flip side. Maybe.